Good evening, class. Good evening, Dr. Shekhan. Tonight, I'm presenting on Constructivism learning theory. My name is Oluseun Holmes, and this is in partial fulfillment of our class, EDAD 901, Principles of Contemporary Educational Technology with Bowie State University. Overview of Constructivism. What is the what, the why, the key people, and the role, or what's the role that learning theory plays in educational technology. Constructivism is a theory of how learners construct knowledge from experience, which is unique to each individual. Piaget described constructivism as a system of explanations of how learners as individuals adapt and refine knowledge. It is based on the assumption that knowledge is subjective, contextual, and inherently partial. Two views of constructivism: individual, which is also known as cognitive constructivism, emphasizes individual and internal construction of knowledge. And the second view is social constructivism, which emphasizes that knowledge exists in a social context and is initially shared with others instead of being represented solely in the mind of an individual. There are 10 basic guiding principles of constructivist thinking for educators. The first one is learning is an active process in which the students construct meaning. People learn to learn. They also believe that learning involves language. It is a social activity, and it is contextual. Constructing meaning is always contextual, they believe in. They also believe that everyone needs knowledge to learn, and that learning is not passive acceptance of knowledge. It takes work. Motivation is a major aspect of learning, and it takes time to learn. We all know that in this class as well. What is the why? To justify the why of constructivists in teaching and learning, it will be seen better if we compare it with the traditional or conventional pedagogical practices. In a traditional pedagogical practice, we know that learning answer is key, while in constructivist, they believe that exploration of questions is really key for them. Traditional emphasizes on memory, while constructivist emphasizes critical thoughts. Conventional pedagogical practices emphasizes bits and pieces of information, while the constructivists believe that understanding a context is very, very essential. While the traditional thinks that children must read, which is key to every child. Yes, they must read. Reading. But constructivists believe that you have to do beyond that. They have to be able to do what they have read. They have to be able to interact with each other. And they have to be able to explore with their environment. So even in reading, the reading should not be all in itself. There should be connection to the outside world. And there should be a way that it interacts with them, is of interest to them as well. Conventional believe in objectivism, while constructivists believe in subjective resilience of learners' beliefs and reality. While the traditional focuses on level of knowledge and reinforcement, constructivists believe in children or people constructing their own. And you can see the why. Also, in the why, the constructivists believe that there are 4 epistemological assumptions about knowledge. The first one, they believe that knowledge is physically constructed by learners who are involved in active learning. They believe that knowledge is symbolically constructed by learners who are making their own representation of actions. They also emphasize the fact that knowledge is socially constructed by learners who convey their meaning, making to others. And finally, the 4th construct here is that knowledge is theoretically constructed by learners who try to explain things they don't know or they do not completely understand. There are 4 key people, and that in constructivist learning theory. The four people are John Piaget. John Piaget is known for child development theory. He believes the learner's abilities differ at each developmental level. Children progress through stages through exploring their environment. Vygotsky, on the other hand, is known for his scaffolding theory and the zone of proximal development. He believes that students learn from experts by building on what they already know. Each learner's background shapes how he or she learns. And we have the zone of proximal development. The third person is Dewey. John Dewey is a social activist that promotes social interaction among students on problems and issues of direct interest to them. While Jerome Brunner, known as his discovery learning, children learn and remember concepts better when they learn through exploration. I would go in a deeper context with Piaget and Vygotsky. Piaget, one of his quotes is, "What we see changes what we know. What we know changes what we see." He believes that children are active and motivated learners. Children's knowledge, they're more integrated and more organized. Cognitive development depends on interaction, physical and social. The process of equilibrium. Develop increasingly levels of thoughts. Children learn through the process of assimilation and accommodation. Cognitive development can occur only after certain genetically controlled neurological changes occur. And he believes that there are 4 cognitive stages in children. The sensory motor, which happens from the age of birth to 2 years. The learning takes place primarily through the child's senses and motor actions. The second cognitive stage is the pre-operational, from about age 2 to age 7. The children begin to use symbols, images. And there is the concrete operational from age 7 to 11. Children begin to think logically. And he believes that in the last stage, which is the formal operational, from about age 12 to 15, children begin to think in an abstract way. The children learn through organization and schemas. Children in control of the knowledge provided and move forward to construct their own learning by taking part in social activities and exploration. And talking about Vygotsky, one of his favorite quotes is, "What a child can do today with assistance, she will be able to do by herself tomorrow." He's known for his social development theory. The learning takes place within the context of a child's social development and culture. He's also known for his zone of proximal development. This is an important part of social constructivism. ZPD is the age at which a task can be completely fulfilled without confusion, or the difference between the problem-solving ability that a child has learned and the potential that the learning child can achieve from collaboration with a more advanced peer or expert, such as a teacher or mentor. He believes that learning should be engaging. It should be simultaneous to and occur through social interaction and exploration. And he actually believed that tasks can be introduced to a child even when they were not old enough to grasp this concept. We can see that, even with fractions. The children, even at kindergarten or preschool, they do not know they're learning fractions, but they know how to share stuff. They know how to split stuff between themselves. So they know how to divide into equal parts. You look from whole to parts. And you look from parts to whole as well. So these are 2 major authors even in this learning theory. Thanks to them, they've really helped us shape our thinking and the way we teach our children. And this is just a little graphical organization to show what each of them believe in. Now let's look at the roles of the learning theory in educational technology. What is the implication to our classrooms? How is technology integrated? What are the roles of the teachers? What are the roles of the students? And we're going to look at the different strategies that the constructivists suggested in integrating technology. They believe that classes should be student-centered and the activities should be student-centered because it's of interest to them. Then the kind of technology could be hypermedia. Information is presented by linking text, graphics, sound bites, videos, and documents. This is done now because of the pandemic. It's actually driving us into exploring what this learning theory says about technology. Web quests, scavenger hunts, right from the age of preschool, curriculum resource pages. Then there could be encourage group projects, research projects, research with websites, word processors, PowerPoint presentations, electronic flashcards for vocabulary, graphs on Excel, game creation, gamification. I mean, all these are now thanks to COVID-19. Photo story, movie maker software. It's making we educators to be on top of our game. These are. And also, the constructivists believe children learn by actively investigating technology in order to reach diverse population. That children should be encouraged to discover concepts on their own. We should provide rich environment, facilitate learning. Some of the strategies for technology integration based on constructivist models include, I actually talked about 4 of them, and the needs and the problems to be addressed, and the examples of the activities that could be used to address each of those problems. So the first one is, if you want to foster creative problem solving and metacognition, is when you have children thinking of their own thinking. The needs and the problem that would address would be students' need to be able to solve complex, novel problems as they occur. Teacher, too, want to encourage students' self-awareness of their own learning strategies. Some of the activities include video-based scenarios that illustrate problems and support students' problems solving. Concepts mapping tools that illustrate concepts and support students' manipulation of variables. Reflective thinking that illustrates simulations to allow exploration of how complex system works. The second strategy for technology integration based on constructive models is, if you want to help build mental models and increase knowledge transfer, the needs and the problems addressed here are students that have problems understanding concepts or complex or abstract concepts, or they're not able to identify where skills apply to real life. And you know, real life is key to constructivist. We have to make the connection. If the children are not making connection, how are they going to function in a 21st century world or be able to be college and career ready? Some of the examples and activities include video-based scenarios to illustrate problems. Games and simulations combine skills and knowledge building to solve life challenges. Virtual field trips and problem-solving software illustrate and let students explore complex environments or systems. Virtual field trips is very common now in the hybrid or the students being in the brick and mortar, thanks to COVID. The third integration strategy is to foster group cooperation. You know that the learning theory constructivists, they believe that children need to interact with the environment. They need to interact with one another as well. So students need to be able to work with others to solve problems and create products. And all this could be seen in the standard for math practices and even in the standard for our sciences in our classrooms, where you have children work together, be able to critique each other's reasoning, and construct a viable argument. Some of the examples here, activities could be seen where you have students communicate and collaborate to do effective internet research, learn from diverse resource sources, create multimedia expressions of learning, design solutions. When they work together, two heads are better than one. They're able to come up with great inventions that would actually marvel us. Strategies based on constructivists include allowing for multiple and distributed intelligences. The problems addressed here, students need multiple ways to learn. Examples of activities include use of collaborative online tools. Could be student peer, with teacher, with their peers, and media-based scaffolding. Accept a range of multimedia expressions of learning, and knowledge expressions are built and distributed across the group. These are the strategies that the constructivists suggested. In conclusion, constructivism believes that learning is active. Learners integrate new experience with prior knowledge to construct meaning. They also believe that learning is constructive, where you have learners articulate learning goals and reflect on progress towards these goals. In addition, they believe that learning is authentic, where learners need to experience a rich, authentic context for their meaning making. And finally, that learning is cooperative. Learners construct knowledge through productive conversation with other learners. And some of the technology that can facilitate constructivist learning experience through tools such as collaboratively shared documents, such as Google, Jamboard, Peer Deck, and different platforms that we use now. Information for exploration. We have web searching tools. We have complex simulations and constructive projects. In the areas of wikis, we have web searching and we have video creations. This is the final conclusion for constructivism. And I hope you've learned something from here today. How would you apply it in your classroom? How would you impact other teachers? Or how would it change even the children in this 21st century? Or what is the importance, or does it matter, educational technology in this day and age? And seeing how the learning theory actually dig deeper into us knowing the children that are in front of us and knowing what suits every child in order for each and individual child to succeed on their own. Thank you. Any questions and answers? Feel free. Thank you. Concludes our presentation tonight. Good night.